Morning. Did you do the homework? Do you know what the homework is, first of all? Do you get the homework on the WhatsApp group? It's not about present and absent. So I believe I'd given this homework. Yes, I had asked you to do reading comprehension and VR3. I had explained, no, VR3 will be the topic of today. VR2 and VR1 we have completed. RC page 165, reading comprehension, page 152 to 156 I've given us homework. Have you done it? Open to page 152, reading comprehension. I've given 152 to 156 as homework. Done? Done. How many of you done? You have done it. You, 1, 2, 3. Yes. Everyone else, I'll give you 2 minutes. Go through the paragraph and let's quickly discuss the doubts. Poems also I had given as homework. Poem 5, poem 6, poem 7. Are you done? Not done. I'm not going to do them in class unless you have doubts. Do the poem comprehensions at home. All right. And page 152. This is the passage comprehension. Passage 4. Till passage 3 we have discussed. Passage 4 onwards was left. So I'll give you time. Page 152 to 156. That is question 26 to question 45. I'm giving you 15 minutes. 15, 17 minutes maybe. Yes, start. 6, 45. "17 minutes. Start. Class has started. The test has started. Quick, quick. Yes, can you come and sit over here, please? आपके पीछे जो बैठा है आपको नहीं बोल रही हूँ उसको बोल रही हूँ जिसने आपको कहा कम come come in front please, that's an order. I've seen you every day. Meaning of which word? Stiffen is when you get stiff. Process of getting stiff. Stiffen. Either out of fear or out of anxiety. Taking very long. Can you please switch that off? Can I discuss the answers now? Seems like you're done. Doesn't look like you're solving the exercises. Please no talking. I've given you this time to read the passage and try and solve it on your own. If you're done, let me know. I can start the class. It doesn't look like you're done, but you still don't want to do it. That won't help you. All phones on silent during class time. Okay, question number 26. What's your answer? Those of you who've done it as homework. Bolo, what is your answer? 26. Give me the answers from 26 to 34. Your answers, not the answers at the back. So I'll call out the answers. You mark your answers and tell me which doubts you have. That will be faster. 26 is D, 27 C, 28 B, D for Delhi. 27 C, 28 B, 29 C, 30 A, 31 D for Delhi, 32 B for Bombay, 33 A, 34 B for Bombay, 35 C, 36 D for Delhi, 37 C, 38, 39 and 40 B, B for Bombay, 41 is D for Delhi, 42 C, 43 D for Delhi, 44 A and 45 B for Bombay. Yes. Okay. Now tell me the first passage. I thought the first passage, passage 4, was very interesting. He drew an analogy. This is an example of an analogy. What is an analogy? Two parallel situations that have something in common. Otherwise, they are very different. Getting the security check done at the airport is very different from finding the presence of water on distant planets. But he's drawn an analogy between both the situations. Why? Because he's saying the same technology is used in both. Metal detectors detect, as he has explained very well, an induced, when you put a conducting material like a metal in a changing magnetic field, electric currents will arise, and those electric currents will create a secondary magnetic field. The detectors can sense when an induced field is present, and that's how the security in the all of you have been through security checks at airports. That's how the metal detectors work. And the same technology is used to detect water. In a distant moon, there's a moon of Jupiter called Europa. And because of this technology, they've discovered that Europa has an outer ice shell about 10 kilometers thick, beneath which lies an ocean about 100 kilometers deep. And no one knows what lies in that ocean. And researchers are dying to find out. It's not possible. We don't have a manned mission as yet to Jupiter. We don't have that much fuel and that much food for the crew to survive. But in the future, sometime this might be possible. You can find out what is there on Jupiter and Europa. So, 26, the answer is, why does the author think of oceans on distant worlds while waiting in line for an airport security check? These oceans can be detected using the same physical principles. I just explained this answer, right? 27. What is a good title? A good title should be brief. It should be connected to the main idea. And it's preferable if it has some kind of wordplay or something interesting like an alliteration or a pun. Okay. So preferably keep those things in mind. It should not be very long. It should be connected to the main idea. Now, if you look at that, detecting extraterrestrial oceans, how does that compare with hassles in airport security? Hassles in airport security have been given only as a comparison. The main passage talks about oceans in distant planets, right? Airport security on alien worlds, ye to khichdi bana diya. D, oceans on Jupiter's moons, this is too specific. Too specific. So the correct answer is detecting extraterrestrial. What is the meaning of terrestrial? Terrestrial means belonging to the earth. Extraterrestrial means outside the earth. There was a movie by Steven Spielberg. You know who Steven Spielberg? A great movie maker. All of you have seen Krish 3, Krish 2, Krish है ना? वो जादू, वो ऐसे पहन के आता था ना, जादू, है ना? That was inspired by the movie by Steven Spielberg. The name of the movie is E.T. It is E.T. Extraterrestrial. And frame by frame copy, because the character came exactly like that with the hood on top. He actually, the boy made that character wear his hood because he had to hide him from the authorities, like we saw in that movie. And the name of that movie was Extraterrestrial because he also came from space. He was an alien, right? So detecting covers, the detecting part of the title covers the technology discussion, the technology that has been described that happens at the airport security check. And the rest of it is about the ocean. So it covers everything. It's the best option. 28. 28B. Which of these statements regarding oceans on distant worlds is false? So you had to verify A, C, and D. Then you would arrive at B. Any doubts in 28? In fact, I think these kind of questions are the most difficult because you have 3 options to verify instead of 1. They take more time. 29. Which of the following is true about Europa? Again, baki eliminate karna padega. Then you arrive at the answer. 29 ka C. 29 ka C. It may future because he says, who knows the ocean under the ice might have hydrothermal vents. That's given in the last paragraph. 30. A, airport security portal works by detecting an induced magnetic field. This has been explained at length. 31. There is liquid water with salts dissolved in it under the this is factual. See, 31 is factual. There will be some inferential and there will be some factual. You will have to go back to the passage in any case. Denuded. Denuded means completely removed. Everything is removed. So 32B. Divested. Divested from. Divested is to remove. Everything is removed. 33. What is the meaning of bizarre? Bizarre means strange, very weird, very strange. Opposite of bizarre is ordinary. It fits. 34. All the following words. Now, please, whenever you see questions like this, slow down. Our tendency is to mark the synonym of whisked. But there are 3 synonyms, and there's one word which does not mean whisk. So don't leave out the word except. Pay attention to the word except, right? The answer is B. Passage 5. Passage 5 is about teaching children about religious ideas. In short, he talks about his own childhood. He talks about how he's teaching religious ideas to his children. And he talks about how there are a lot of jingoists. Jingoist means over-enthusiastic people who speak about religion, who spread hate in the name of religion. And he doesn't like that. Last paragraph, he says that I see us as what we should be. And there's a dash. That dash, humans. So he's emphasizing that above religion and above being religious, we should all be humans. That's most important. Which of the following identifies the theme of the passage? What I just discussed was the theme, the message of the author, that religion is a personal matter. People ought to explore this for themselves and not impose it on others. It should not be imposed on them. 36. Which of the following is true according to the passage? Again, such questions tend to take a... If you have read the passage, how do you read the passage? I'll tell you how I read it right now. I literally read the first paragraph. I took a little bit of time to understand what the passage was about. Then following that, I read very, very fast. I realized that paragraph 2 is about passing on religion to his children from the first 5 words. My boys are 15 and 17 years old now, sensitive, blah, blah, blah. However, I do not see any lack of moral fabric. Everything else I skipped. So I read the first line, I read the last line. Not even the full sentence, just a few words to understand what the paragraph is about. Then I went on to the next paragraph and I saw, why do we want children to have strong religious beliefs? And then I jumped down to the bottom of page 154. On December 2014, Vivan came back broken-hearted from school after the chilling Peshawar massacre. One of his classmates had casually dismissed the killings as something that happened to Pakistani Muslims. Then I understood what this paragraph is about. He doesn't like that lack of sensitivity. Next paragraph was, I grew up in a home where my mom spent half her time trying to trace me. Papa was mostly found in the folds of a newspaper. Sundays were spent playing boggle. Religious education was not on his agenda either. So neither mom or dad imposed their religious beliefs on the author. My family miserably failed their task of molding me into a Hindu. Baki maine padha nahi. I read that line, I knew what that paragraph was about. And then I went on to, since we have not embraced a single faith, the boys are curious about different religions. Samajh mein aa gaya. He's saying there should be curiosity about different religions, and it is a matter of individual exploration. Last paragraph, I cringe each time I see self-appointed advocates of any religion spewing venom. Venom means poison. Religion ke naam pe they are throwing poison, which is not religion at all. And he cringes. Cringe means doing that. You're showing your disapproval. You don't like it. It pains you. It hurts you. And then I see, they see the likes of me. He's talking about himself. It's in first person, the entire passage. They see the likes of me as hypocrites, traitors, blind sympathizers, and an embarrassment to our own religion. I see us as what we should be, humans. So I just want to point out that it's not necessary to read every sentence, every word of the passage. You are not supposed to. But you're supposed to, what I just discussed right now was skimming and scanning. How you follow the idea. You are looking for what is the message, what is the idea. Not word for word, not sentence by sentence, idea for idea. Okay. Quickly tell me doubts. We'll move on. 39 to 45 doubts. 40. Asphyxiate is to strangle, suffocate. when you die due to lack of oxygen, to suffocate someone. Okay, stifle is to stifle someone's growth. You prevent that person from growing, or you prevent that person from speaking. Uska मुंह बंद कर दिया, stifle, है ना? Opposite क्या होगा? Unleash, to release. So the opposite of stifle is unleash. Stifle could also mean asphyxiate. Stultify is to prevent someone from growing. And quell is बहुत हल्ला हो रहा है, उसको आप शांत कर रहे हो. You're stifling the noise. But unleash is the opposite. That's why 42 the answer is C. Has everyone got their vocabulary books today? Yes, we will do vocabulary. You can see how important it is. Na? This is how they test your vocabulary. 39. 3 questions at the beginning of the 4th paragraph can be described as being beginning of the 4th paragraph. So the question is, why do we want children to have strong religious beliefs? Is it for inculcation of the right morals and values? These are rhetorical questions, है ना? Because you want people to think about these answers. See, B में लिखा है ना rhetorical. Rhetorical questions are questions to which the answer is either implied or the author immediately answers the question. 2 kinds of rhetorical questions. Here, it is meant to generate thought-provoking. Okay. Chalo, I don't think you have any other doubts. Doubts hai? What is the meaning of? What's the meaning of insula? Option 4, 44, option D. Okay, move on to VR3. Can I start the class? VR3, statements and arguments. Page number 279. Yes, opened. Page 279, VR3. Start reading. And next person whose phone rings in class will go out. Please keep your phones on silent in the class. Page 279, VR3. Statements and arguments. Which one are you on? Huh? Oh, yes, yes. I'm sorry. I went to the revision section. Correct. 114. 114. My mistake. 114. VR3. Statements and arguments. I won't start teaching unless there is pin drop silence. Ready? In argument questions, we're asked to evaluate arguments on issues of social relevance and identify them as weak or strong. What they're trying to do is, imagine you are the judge of a debate. Okay. And there are people on for and against. And there are some people who will make irrelevant arguments. You are the judge. You have to decide whether the argument is relevant or not. If it's relevant, it's strong. If it's not relevant, it's weak. For example, you have a fight with your friend and you say that we should invest our money in the stock market. And your friend says, no, it's very risky. We can lose money. Strong argument because it's relevant. Someone else says, we should do it, but we should consult an expert. Strong argument, relevant. But someone else says, I don't have savings. That's a weak argument. बिकॉज बात उसकी हुई नहीं है, बात ये हो रही है शुड वी इन्वेस्ट इन द स्टॉक मार्केट और नॉट. पापा ने पैसे ही नहीं दिए हैं. वीक आर्ग्यूमेंट. दैट्स नॉट व्हाट इज बीइंग डिस्कस्ड. So you see, this is what this chapter is about. Imagine you're the judge of a debate and you have to decide whether the argument is strong or weak. If you approach it with this idea and you don't get stuck in the yes or no, someone can agree strongly or someone can disagree, but both are relevant. Irrelevant ones are weak arguments. You have to find out the connected arguments, right? So they've given the option, should mobile phones be restricted in classrooms? Yes, because young children get easily distracted by their mobile phones during lessons. No, because mobile phones are children's only helpline in the case of an emergency. Now look at the options. If only one argument is so strong, you'll mark 1. If only argument 2, then 2. If both 1 and 2, then option 3. If neither 1 nor 2 is forceful or strong, then 4. And if either 1 or 2, that means if 1 is strong, then 2 is not. If 2 is strong, then 1 is not. Then you will mark 5. Obviously, 5 is the most difficult to understand, but kabhi kabhi dikh jata hai. It becomes obvious at times. Answer to the sample question is option 1. Argument 2 is not forceful because it may apply to situations outside the classroom. Inside the classroom, kaun sa emergency ho raha hai? Right? In the classroom, the child is under constant care of the teacher, supervision of the teacher. If there's an emergency, obviously she'll take care. Hence, argument 2 does not directly address the issue. Okay. What are forceful arguments? Forceful arguments directly address the issue raised by the question or the case. An argument is strong and logical only if it immediately addresses the issue. Some arguments are at times evasive and do not address the issue at all. For example, voting age should be raised to 21. One argument says, no, voting is the political right of every citizen in our democracy. Is it relevant? Voting age should be raised to 21 again. And the argument given is, voting is the political right of every citizen of our... This is random, not connected. So this is weak. Okay. Now there are some rules for forceful argument. Unbiased, objective, rational, not emotional. है ना? आपको दोस्त के घर में जाके रात को रुकना है, आप पेरेंट्स को बोलोगे मैं आपका इकलौता बेटा हूं, आप मुझे ना कैसे बोल सकते, है ना? दिस इज इमोशनल. इसमें कोई लॉजिक नहीं है. दिस इज वीक. लॉजिक दो. पापा बोलेंगे हटो मम्मी को, मेरे को लॉजिक दो तुम, है ना? ये सब नहीं चलेगा. Right? So that is, it should not be emotional. Prejudices are dished out as arguments at time. Prejudice means bias. That is also not strong. Questions relating to communal harmony, uniform civil code, reservation. We often confront prejudiced arguments. Top of page 115. These are weak. Biased arguments are weak. Think of an issue related to women's equality, glass ceiling, gender disparity, capability of women managers. You will see that prejudices creep into the conversation. We express our biased point of view as arguments. They are not forceful. Arguments, please underline this sentence. Arguments need to be based on facts and without bias. They should be precise and objective. Yes? An argument has to be based on facts and reasons. There are times emotional. So emotional is weak. That we've already spoken about. Next paragraph. Forceful argument will always conform to the system. You cannot give an illegal suggestion. It has to follow the law. For example, issue raised may be about death penalty or abolition. The context is the context in India. Okay. The context of India is applicable. Hence, an argument that goes against this context, this culture, these ethos. For example, if it is about patriarchy is what we live in, right? The woman goes to the husband's house. तो वो समझ के करना है कि ये culture है. इस culture में, इस context में, what is right? Accordingly, we will choose the answer according to the present norms and conventions. If democracy is discussed, the argument has to be evaluated in the context of not US democracy, Indian democracy. है ना? In case of abortion, evaluate it in the Indian context. In the US, abortion has been banned in certain states, but that is their context, not ours. Evaluation is not just an intellectual exercise, it has roots in the system we are in. Anything that goes against the system is to be treated as weak. Forceful argument does not have loose ends, meaning it is specific, it is not ambiguous. Next, forceful argument influences the decision on the question. If you're a judge in a court and you see that the lawyer makes a strong argument, a forceful argument, then obviously you will base your decision on that argument. If the lawyer says something irrelevant, you will ignore it, right? Generally, an argument with a strong fact is taken to be strong. Quickly read that last paragraph on page 115. They've explained, in case of premeditated murder, the fact that the murderer is otherwise a good human being is weak in law. However, a lawyer can present it in such a way that the judge takes note of it. This in turn influences the decision to bring down a death sentence to life imprisonment. होता है ऐसा. Thus, a weak fact, if it is well presented, can make the argument strong. But this is in terms of law. Don't get too influenced by this. If something is weak, it is weak. If you can imagine a courtroom, second paragraph on 116. If you can imagine a courtroom while evaluating an argument, it helps. Your case may be weak, but as a lawyer, you will definitely try to present your case strongly. Sometimes a strong case is lost in the court because of weak arguments. चलो, ये सब एक ही चीज को बार-बार बोल रहे हैं. Let's start with the sample question. Quickly do it. Should every student in higher education be required to study humanities? It's actually a very, you know what humanities is, na? हाँ. अच्छा, एक चीज ध्यान रखना. Don't allow your biases to creep in when you're investigating, when you're exploring the options. You may think, no, every student should not be required to study humanities. कौन पढ़ेगा geography, history, right? But that's your opinion. यहाँ analysis हो रहा है. Opinion नहीं मांगा जा रहा है आपका. Okay, so do the sample question. What is wrong? We all know argument 1 is strong. Yes. See. Yes, because this will deepen their sources of wisdom by exposure to how others have dealt with failure, success, adversity, triumph. Okay. 1 is related. What is wrong in 2? Can someone tell me? 2 says the student is not interested. May not be interested. So why should he be forced to study that? Right? He's interested in other fields. इसको change कर पाओगे? Some other board. दूसरा वाला जाए तो भेज दो दुर्गेश सर को. मुझे सिखा दो भाई हमेशा. Okay. No, because the student may simply not be interested in humanities as a subject. This is not about the subject. This is about a particular student. It is not relevant. Sir, सिखा दीजिए. मैं आपको बार-बार परेशान करती हूँ. Tell me how you do it.
Documents में ये classic board.
Documents में है. Okay, I was. And what is this going on? ये बार-बार आ रहा है. Is the cloud full or something? चलेगा? Okay, thank you. ठीक है, no argument is weak, it does not address the issue, it's not about the issue of humanities at all, therefore it is weak. Chalo, let's start the exercise. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, start. I'm giving you 5 minutes. You have 10 questions, 5 minutes is enough. Start. 10 questions. Okay, let's discuss. Chalo, let's discuss. Obviously, you're done. Answers. 1 is C, 2 is C, 3 is A, 4 and 5 are B, 6 is A, 7 and 8 are B, 9 is A, and 10 is D. Doubts? D, huh? Question 8. 3. Should the government impose restrictions on access to sensitive information to the journalists to avoid the media hype? ये वाला ना? हाँ, what is your doubt? Options, A is the answer. 1, 2, and 3, all 3 are strong. That means 3 you've not understood. So 3 says that if sensitive information, please, can you please keep quiet, everyone else? If sensitive information is given to the media, it can be misused and lead to harassment of individuals involved. Can you please, excuse me, can you please leave? Yes, I've been looking at you for a long time. I've been waiting for a long time. You can leave. You're not interested in the class. It's fine. Maybe this is not there in your competitive exam. It's okay. You can leave. You were the one who were talking the most, and I'm not arguing. This is your final warning. An example is, I'll tell you which case. See, for number 2, number 1, if you remember the bombing of the Taj Hotel in when there was the terrorist attack in November in Bombay, the media was covering the security operations. They were trying to access. Taj was held under siege by the terrorists, and the news journalists were covering that every scene. It was live. The terrorists took advantage of that, and they were actually helped because of the journalist coverage of that event. And after that, the government became very strict about allowing the media to cover such incidents. So that is number 1. This is also to do with your general knowledge, how much aware you are about these things that happen around us. So reading the newspaper will definitely help you to understand these questions. Number 3 reminds me of, क्या नाम है उसका? Srishant, the Dhoni. Remember how his friend and the girlfriend and all, they were harassed by media. There were media trials that were held, and they pronounced them guilty without any proper evidence, etc. That is option 3, where the media, if they have some information, and sometimes they can harass individuals, though they don't have proof, but it makes for good, it attracts eyeballs, gets them good business. So 1, 2, 3, all are strong, all are related, right? Number 7, you had a doubt. 4, 2, okay. 2 and 4, should the consumption of aerated drinks be banned in India? So, did you think 4 is also correct? See, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, Roman 4. Roman 3 is the answer. No, there is no confirmed evidence that such products have adverse effects on the body. बोलते हैं ना कोल्ड ड्रिंक से बॉडी बोन्स गल जाते हैं, ये सब है ना, बट ऐसा हम तो अपने बच्चों को कोल्ड ड्रिंक देते भी और खुद भी पीते हैं, राइट? बिकॉज देयर इज नो एविडेंस कि कोल्ड ड्रिंक से इतना ही कुछ खराब होता है, राइट? एंड 4 says yes, it is banned in many other countries also. So I was looking for an option which had both 3 and 4. But if you look at the options, that option is not there. It's not there. No, caffeine ka proof hai. Like Mountain Dew has excessive caffeine, and it is written that it's not supposed to be consumed by children. But uske alawa koi absolute adverse effects ka koi proof abhi tak nahi hua hai, right? Roman 2? No, this is unrelated. This is unrelated. See, the same argument has been given this one. Question 1, option 2, same thing. Each individual has the right. ये तो सूरत के लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. Each individual has the right to choose for themselves. Helmet पहने कि नहीं पहने, ये हमारी निजी मामला है. Why do people interfere, है ना? But this is not the way the law works. The law is for the protection of the individual. If the individual says, I don't care about my life, I will not wear a helmet, that law, that argument does not hold water, right? So can you see Roman 2 in question 1 and question 2 are same, but दोनों गलत है. Okay. 7. Should school education be made free in India? This is a debate. It is given free in many places. It is primary education. हाँ बोलो. Then question 4. I'll come back to it. First, let's do number 7. Should school education be made free in India? No. It would add to the already heavy burden on the exchequer. What is your problem with number 7? मतलब तुम्हारा आंसर क्या था? Yes, this is the only way to improve. Only extreme option. How can you choose only? Only word को underline करो और बोलो, do you have all the information to decide this is the only way? कोई और तरीका नहीं हो सकता. और भी तो तरीका हो सकता है. Private education क्यों नहीं? Suppose I give grants. Instead of making primary education free, I give direct cash transfer to individuals, all poor, rural, urban, all poor people, all people. I give them a certain cash transfer, and using that money, they send their children to school. ये भी तो हो सकता है ना? How can I say this is the only way to improve literacy? Have I exhausted all the other methods? The moment you see words like only, all, none, थोड़ा सा safe, थोड़ा सा careful हो जाओ. This may or may not be the answer. First, understand what are the assumptions being made over here. So the only way to improve the literacy, that only word makes that option wrong because we don't know. The answer is we don't know. And should school education be made free in India cannot be supported by this argument. The judge will say, prove it. Prove it. It's not proven. But number 2 is connected. Because if I'm saying make it free in India, that means it is a huge tax burden. No doubt. Kharcha to aayega. So option B is connected. Option 2, which is B. Number 4. Should persons below the age of 18 years be allowed to join armed forces? No. Persons below the age of 18 do not attain both physical and mental maturity to shoulder such burden. 2. Yes, this will help the country develop its armed forces, which will serve the country for a longer time. Yes, 2 is correct. But whose doubt was this? Number 4 कोई बोल रहा था? हाँ, तो number 4 आपका क्या आंसर था? अच्छा कोई बात नहीं, किसी का भी हो, आप लोग सबको आंसर मिला. Number 2 आंसर मिला. My question to you is why not 1? Why not 1? Why isn't 1 connected? It can be an opinion. There can be, it can vary from a case to case. It's not a universal truth that all people will not attain physical and mental maturity. There could be someone who does by the age of 18. So number 1 is an opinion. It is not a fact. It cannot be independent. What is the difference between fact and opinion? How do you check whether something is a fact or an opinion? सीधा देखो. What is the difference between fact and opinion? कैसे check करोगे कि कोई चीज fact है या opinion है? But there's a test. Suppose I say insulin is the best way to control diabetes. I'm giving it to you as a fact. I'm saying insulin is the best way to control diabetes. तो तुम क्या करोगे? Google पे check करोगे कि मैम ने बोला insulin is the best way to check to control diabetes. Is it the best way? तो पता चला कि no. Now there is new research. Now there is a new wonder drug, वास्तव में है, which helps control diabetes in a better manner. तो ये मेरा fact है क्योंकि you could independently verify it. मैंने जो बोला वो opinion नहीं है, वो fact है because you have the ability to independently verify it. If I say the sky is blue, you can verify it. You can go on to the internet and you can check, is the sky blue, is the sky pink? Independently verifiable. But I like Mercedes car opinion. You cannot independently verify it. वो मैम का opinion है. ये फर्क है fact and opinion में. Whenever you're doing these questions, that distinction has to be clear. Huh? Any other doubt? I thought 10 someone said. 10. Fifth. Should income tax be abolished in India? Yes. It is an unnecessary. Please underline unnecessary. किसका opinion है ये? Unnecessary is an, यही चीज मैं बोल रही हूँ. Can you independently verify whether it is necessary? You cannot ना. ये बोलने वाले की राय है. How can we verify? So this is an opinion. No, it is a good source of revenue. Revenue का adequate source है कि नहीं है? ये आप verify कर सकते हो? Yes. Good का मतलब यहाँ पे अच्छा नहीं है. Good का मतलब है adequate. Write it down. Otherwise you'll say, ma'am, good is also opinion. But good has many meanings. Good means adequate source of revenue. Okay. Number 10. Should there be a students' union in college and university? This is a debate in many universities in India. Jawaharlal Nehru University, Jadavpur University. So, should there be a students' union? No. It will create a political atmosphere on the campus. What is meaning of political atmosphere? Jaise, the political parties also get involved. The political parties realize that if we catch them young, हमें फायदा है. So politics होने लगता है campus पे. जैसे JNU में it's quite political. Jadavpur University in Calcutta, there's a very strong political atmosphere. Christ University does not allow it because they don't want it to be politicized. So it is a related argument. It is relevant. 1 is relevant. 2 says, yes, it is necessary. Why? Because if we don't allow students to form unions and lead unions, then how will they become future leaders? So both 1 and 2 are connected. They are both connected. Okay. 11 to 20, have you done? हो गया है? तो doubts बताओ. बताओ कौन-कौन से doubts हैं? हाँ, कोई बात नहीं. जिसका doubts है, मैं फिर वो discuss कर दूंगी. हाथों हाथ आप करोगे on real time. Doubts बताओ. No doubts. 11 to 20. 19 and 20. Okay. Everyone look at 19 and 20. 2 minutes. Look at 19 and look at 20. दोनों को solve करो. Online. Yug, Ridhima, Vraj. Any doubts till now? We are 3. Any doubts? Should the government construct big dams across all major rivers in India? Do you remember who Medha Patkar is? Medha Patkar का नाम सुना है? किसने हाँ बोला? सुना है मेधा पाटकर का नाम? She is an environmental activist, very famous. When the Narmada Dam was being built, she conducted a huge protest against the construction of that dam. She's from Ahmedabad, I think, because that dam was constructed in Ahmedabad on the Narmada River. And that dam displaced a lot of people. Whenever dams are constructed, a lot of people who live in and around the rivers, they are affected. So she held a huge, see, you enter the class and you start talking. एक काम करो ना, यहाँ पे बहुत खाली जगह अब यहाँ मैं बोल रही हूँ ना, आगे बैठ जाओ, बहुत जगह है आगे, यहाँ बैठ जाओ. Bring your things first. Bring your book, phone, bag, everything. और यहाँ पे आ जाओ. Come in front. So Medha Patkar conducted a huge protest against the construction of the Narmada Dam because it displaced a lot of poor people. It affected their livelihoods. Then finally, there was a court case, a huge court case, which went on for a long time. And of course, finally, it was settled in favor of the government. But they do affect, and the government promised to take care of those poor people who are displaced because of the dam. So that is number 1, that no, this will hamper the whole ecosystem of our country, right? Number 2, this will solve the problem of water scarcity. Can you see? Yes, in front. This will solve the problem of water scarcity. This is an extreme option. You're saying just construction of dams will solve the entire problem of water scarcity. ऐसा तो नहीं है. So can you see the wording itself? This was your doubt. Can you see the wording itself is extreme? That it will completely solve. ऐसा तो नहीं है. So 2 is not related. 1 is related. Answer is A. Hamper. You're saying whole, the word whole. Because the sentence is, should the government construct big dams across all the major rivers in India? So if big dams are constructed across all major rivers, it will impact the whole ecosystem. Because of the, as such, this is not preferred, you are right. But because of the argument itself, the statement itself, that's why it is connected. Okay. But 2 is not, because 2 is not feasible. 20. Is it important to provide prompt customer service? Prompt का मतलब तुरंत. मेरा फ्रिज बिगड़ गया है, मैंने सैमसंग वाले को फोन किया, मैडम आपके पास सर्विस का आदमी 24 घंटे के अंदर आ जाएगा. मैं 24 घंटे बिना फ्रिज के कैसे रहूं? Big problem, right? So is it important? Yes. Slow customer response time might sever companies' ties with their loyal customers. Of course, I will go for the company that gives me good after-sales service. Number 2, yes, delayed service and long hours, please underline, will abate their revenue. Will abate का मतलब क्या है? Abate means to reduce. This is again an extreme option. This is too much of an assumption to say that delayed service होगा, long hours होगा, तो उनकी revenue घटेगी. Can I immediately assume that? No. It might affect, if the option would have been worded differently, might affect their revenues, could be the correct answer. But this extreme option will not work, right? So it is A. Okay, we'll do VR4 next day. Now vocabulary. Open the vocabulary book. It's fine. क्या हुआ? आपका बैग नहीं है? ले आओ. 65 क्यों दिया था? Page 25. Page 25, vocabulary book. Open to page 25. You don't have. Who does not have a vocab book? Raise your hands. Rearrange yourself so that you can share a vocabulary book. You 3 of you have one book. Okay. Others take out a notebook so you can write down the answers. Work independently. Shift up. Page 25. Page 25, online students as well. Page 25, vocab book. Yes, can you start? Can you see the exercise on page 25? This is homophones. First question is, originality has always been the writer's forte. Is it page 25? Forte is area of strength. So is it fort? F-O-R-T, quiet everyone. 25. Page 25, vocab book. F-O-R-T मतलब किला होता है, fort. F-O-R-T-E मतलब area of, उठो उठो बाज, आप और आप, दोनों जन बातें कर रहे थे, चलो बाहर जाओ, आप लोग को नहीं पढ़ना है, इट्स ओके, गो आउट। टीचर की नजर से कुछ नहीं छिपता, आई एम सिटिंग हियर, आई एम फेसिंग यू गाइस। पेज 25, आर वी ऑल रेडी? स्टार्ट। There are words that look similar, but they mean different things. One of you take out a notebook so you can write down the answers. Independently solve. Yeah. Now take a piece of paper. No, not you. You have your notebook? Take it out.
मैम आपका माइक ऑफ है।
आई एम सो सॉरी, तुरंत बता दिया करो ऑनलाइन। Yes, you missed out on meaning of forte. Forte is area of strength. Wane is to reduce. Wry is a subdued, a dry sense of humor. Mite, M-I-T-E, is insects. THROES, waves of an economic recession. Throes of an economic recession. Counsel and counsel. Counsel with an S is advice. Council with a C is an organization, a group of elders. WRETCH is the correct answer for number 4. 2, number 4. Wretch means a poor orphan. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was on mute. Besotted means obsessed. Oblivious means unaware. Sought is to look for something. Besotted is something that is very much in demand. Besotted. Gaffe, G-A-F-F-E, is a mistake. A social gaffe means a glitch, a kind of an embarrassing mistake, is a gaffe. So the social gaffe committed by the actress soon began to do the rounds because it was very embarrassing. What was the gaffe committed by Alia Bhatt in the Coffee with Karan? Coffee with Karan, huh? हाँ, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया कुछ अलग सा ही जवाब दी थी, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर। हाँ, ऐसे कुछ गड़बड़ किया था उसने। एंड आफ्टर दैट डिड द राउंड्स। that is a social gaffe. That is a gaffe, है ना? A very embarrassing public mistake is a gaffe. The rulers of the smaller kingdom were forced to CEDE, seed, first bench. Seed is when you give land. When you cede territory, you give up land because you've lost. Okay. Ordinance and ordinance. So ordinance is a law that the government passes without discussion in parliament. That is an ordinance. The president issues ordinances without, जैसे emergency के समय ordinances pass होते हैं because the parliament is not functioning at that time. Okay, that is an ordinance. Insight is deep thought. दूसरे का मीनिंग नहीं बताया क्योंकि दूसरा का स्पेलिंग ही गलत है। और वैसे एक और ऑर्डिनेंस होता है, those are factories of the army where they produce arms. हाँ, so those are called ordnance factories. That is the second meaning of the word ordinance. But this word does not exist. There's no I over here. The word is wrong. Fascinating. एक काम करो तो तुम लोग अलग अलग बैठो, बाद में करना. Insight. Insight is deep thought. Insight, C-I-T-E, is to provoke. When you want to provoke violence, that is I-N-C-I-T-E. Hail, H-A-I-L. Hail means hailstones होता है ना, so lots of hailstones. Second meaning of hail is to celebrate. Timber. One timber, you know, wood. The other timber means tone of the voice. Timber, the tone of the voice is timber. Of number 4, what is the meaning of AILES? AILS? 3 of you also. बहुत बातें हो रही है आज. You like vocabulary, looks like. एकदम heated discussion. AIL is disease. AIL is disease. And ALE is ginger ale, the drink. Right? Discrete and discrete, very important. Discrete is separate. When you separate things, तुम लोग दोनों बाहर जाओ. बाहर जाओ, दोनों बाहर जाओ. I am serious now. I need to make a few discrete inquiries before signing the contract. Which discrete are we talking about? The second one. Do you know discrete numbers? Separate numbers? The first one is discrete numbers, CRETE. And the second one is secretive. जब कोई चीज चोरी छिपे करते हैं, that is CREET, secretive. Knead is आटा गूंथना, KNEAD, जब हम लोग आटा लगाते हैं ना. So you have to knead the mixture on a floored surface because you're kneading a dough. Capital punishment is death punishment. Slew of opportunities. Slew means many. 7. Metal refers to courage. METTLE, metal. Cite is to give examples. CITE, cite. Diffuse is when something is spread out. DIFFUSE. And defuse is जब आप bomb का fuse निकाल रहे हैं कि bomb फट नहीं जाए. So diffusing a situation by pacifying a situation. Yes. First bench में बैठ के लगातार पढ़ो. आप बताओ. Number 4 का आंसर. 7 part 4. What is the meaning of fawns? Tell the class. FAWNS. The way he fawns over influence. FAWN. FAWN has two meanings. One is the baby of a deer, fawn. But the way it is used here is when you are trying to please people. When you're being a sycophant, जिसको हम लोग चमचा बोलते हैं ना, तो वो खुश कर रहा है दूसरों को. So that is by being a sycophant. So fawns over influential people is truly nauseating. Sheer helplessness, rested, WRESTED. When you forcefully take something from someone, he wrested the gun from his grasp. कौन सा नंबर बताओ? SHEAR is sheep का जब हम लोग wool निकालते हैं ना, that is called shearing. Shear उसको बोलते हैं. And the first word shear means absolute. Second meaning of shear is, have you seen sheer curtains which are translucent? जहाँ पे जो पतले वाले पर्दे होते हैं ना, जिससे धूप नहीं आती है लेकिन रोशनी आती है. Those are called sheer curtains. So there are two meanings of shear. SHEER, two meanings. And the second word, SHEAR, is to shear the wool of the sheep. Number 9, censure and censored. Censure is to scold. The one with the U means to scold. The one with the O means to edit. Have you heard of censor board? है ना? Much hated by people. सबसे अच्छे scenes movie का काट देता है. काटना मतलब edit करना. So SOR is to edit. SUR is to scold. FARE. FARE means fair, money. Palate and palate. Palate is our mouth. When you eat something, the roof of the mouth is called the palate. PALATE. Color palette is LETTE, the second word. लिखा है ना यहाँ पे? PALETTE, that is palette. The painting one is B. 9, number 4. I don't think you have doubts. No doubts? Exercise 1. No, the class is not over. Sit. Yeah. Doubts? Online students, doubts?
आप लिखा है ना शीट गया तो फिर एक चीज है आने वाली क्या हुआ कल बच गया सिर्फ तेरे ही आया
Yes, online students, any doubts? I can take up your doubts now for the next 5 minutes.
आएगा अबे आज तक बात कर रहे थे मैं आज क्यों करवाने वाले दोपहर को भी करना वो हाँ अभी कर दे
Yes, online students, if you don't have doubts, you can leave. Class is over.